The National Broadcasting Commission NBC Sensitization Forum on Political Broadcasting with a theme towards a fair and responsible broadcast coverage of the 2023 general election was held on Wednesday, the 21st of September 2022 at the Eco Hotel and Suites, Victoria Island, Lagos. The guest speakers were R.A. Yusuf, ace broadcaster and former director of multi-channels of the NTA, and Dr. Peter Afonaya, who represented the DG of the DSS, Alhaji Yusuf Magaji. The forum had in attendance top NBC executives led by the DG, Malam Balarabe Shehu Ilela, CEOs of broadcast stations, security personnel, political party representatives, broadcast stakeholders, gentlemen of the press and members of the public. Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Abiodun Alabi, was represented by SP Balogun Hundeyin. Other guests at the event were Alhaji Ahmed Mohammed Ahmed, DG National Troop, Prince Bisi Olatilo, renowned broadcaster, chairman and CEO Biscon Communications, Dr. Adele Ajayi, chairman NUJ Lagos Council, Mr. Kehinde Kenny Ogungbe, the CEO Kenes FM, among many others. The event started with the recitation of the national anthem. The opening remark was given by Alhaji Balarabe Shehu Ilela, Director General of the NBC. He welcomed everyone present and made it clear that the forum is a tradition of the National Broadcasting Commission, being a media regulator. He said the essence of the forum is to remind broadcasters of their role as election campaigns are about to commence. The NBC DG spoke about the need to stick to responsible broadcasting, not one that will undermine our democracy.
As broadcasters, you are expected to offer your platforms for the exchange of ideas, comments, and constructive criticisms for the development of democracy and our culture. Anchors are advised to manage their political guests well and not allow guests to malign others or other people, especially those not present on the program. This is in the spirit of fairness because such people do not have the opportunity to defend themselves at that time. You don't allow somebody to use your platform to accuse or to give bad names to others. This is against our code in NBC, and we are going to be very, very vigilant this time. I want to make it very clear to all of us that are here that it's not going to be business as usual. We are going to put our eagle eyes 24 hours on each and every broadcast station to make sure that you operate within the national unity, participatory, democracy, political awareness, and inclusion of spirit of tolerance of divergent views, and also opinions in people. You must make sure that you accommodate all views, not only views of your masters or your paymasters. Those in the opposition also have the right to be listened to. They also have the right to air their own view, and they must be given equal airtime. NBC would not like to receive complaints or being sidelined by any, by any broadcast station. So you should give them equal opportunity, be it APC, PDP, APGA, Labour Party, whatever party they belong to. You have to give them equal opportunity to participate, to air their own views.
The first speaker, Mr. R.A. Yusuf, ace broadcaster and former director, multi-channels of the NTA, delivered the first paper on effective programming in an election period, the Broadcasting Challenge. He started with posers, which bordered on contributions to the electoral process in terms of education and enlightenment, familiarity with electoral laws, assisting the public to make informed choices. He spoke about the huge challenges that broadcasters face during political periods and stressed on the need for them to see the period as a time to demonstrate cast-iron professionalism and political neutrality.
If our programming is attractive, our stations will also be attractive. Stations should have a political program review committee. If you don't please set up one to review every political program that comes to your station for transmission. The committee will now certify the content after review as airworthy. The committee must be made up of trusted, trusted staff with impeccable credentials. The main duty of the committee will be to monitor and scrutinize all political jingles and programs to ensure compliance with the guidelines. It is better such programs are recorded. If it is live, you will embarrass your station, you will embarrass everybody, and you will be called to account. Alternatively, equal time, say 5 minutes, 10 minutes, should be given to each candidate. You record the same questions you ask candidate A, you ask candidate B. And if any political party declines to honor your invitation, you must let the people know. It's not that you've sidelined them. This is the letter we wrote. This is the day it was delivered. This is the copy they signed.
The second paper was delivered by Dr. Peter Afunanya, representative of the Director General of the DSS, Alhaji Yusuf Magaji. Dr. Peter Afunanya commended the NBC for their effective regulatory role and promised that the DSS will continually work to ensure elections in the country are free, fair and credible. He spoke about the need for broadcast media professionals to remain neutral in their operations and constantly educate the people. He also spoke about the advent of the internet, the rise of community journalists and the challenges that they pose in terms of information dissemination. He ended by stressing that information contents must be ones that address critical issues about Nigeria in terms of fairness, national unity, harmony and tolerance.
We want to re-emphasize that you do not use broadcasting or your broadcast platforms to promote fake news, to promote propaganda, hate speech, or skewed narratives that jeopardize peace, narratives that will put the electioneering system or officials in bad light. You do not intentionally, deliberately cast narratives that are full of lies, full of exaggerations, half-truths, or non-existent issues, such just because you want to either aggregate a financial interest to yourself, or you want to promote an external interest, or you want to bring down your own government, or you want to instigate violence across the nation, violence that may be induced as a result of ethnic or religious incitement. Also, you must understand the electoral law. As an analyst, or as a program producer, or as an editor of the station, or generally a producer, or owner of a station, or employee of a station, it is critical that you understand the actual rules of engagement in terms of the broadcast code, rules of engagement in terms of the electoral law. These are two major documents that you can use to really operate as a broadcast narrator. The narrator now, like we said, would include the newscaster, the producer, the content editor, the content creator, the signal distributor, every person in the chain of activity in the production of programs.
The goodwill message of the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Abiodun Alabi, was presented by his representative, SP Benjamin Hunde.
We, as stakeholders, cannot pretend to ignore the fact that pockets of violence have over time come to characterize political campaigns, other political activities, and elections in the contemporary Nigeria. Although I am optimistic towards a successful 2023 general elections, not only in Lagos but throughout the entire country at large, however, we do not take it for granted that all stakeholders must live up to their constitutional and social responsibilities if this optimism must be a reality. Violence does not pay. I want to further reassure the political parties, all the stakeholders, and indeed the good people of Lagos State that the Nigeria Police Lagos State Command, under my watch, is ever ready to discharge its statutory duties professionally and efficiently. And the 2023 general elections, by God's grace, will be conducted in a safe and secure environment. Thank you, and God bless.
There was also a remark by Malam Ahmed Mohammed Ahmed, the DG of the National Troops of Nigeria, NTN.
Going around the country looking for votes, it is quite important for us to think about Nigeria first, because we have to have a country for us to aspire to wherever we wanted to go. And as media, you have the greatest role. There is nothing that sells in this whole world than communication. People hunger for information. So it's you who guides the minds of people to think right and also think better. So it's quite important for all of us here to understand that whenever we wanted to put our pen on paper, maybe put our camera straight to somebody's face, we must first think about Nigeria. Because there has to be a country people can be able to aspire to go to where we wanted to go to. On this note, I wish us all the best. Thank you.
The chairman of the NUJ, Mr. Adeleye Ajayi, gave a brief goodwill message in which he appreciated the NBC for organizing the forum.
I want to advise NBC to be neutral and not to beat the big stick at times against broadcast stations. They should remain apolitical. You will recall that recently NBC wanted to threaten to sanction some broadcast stations that were owing the registration fees. I think NBC should subpoena on this and allow these stations to some time. They should get some grace period to pay the fees. If you are succeeded in revoking the license of those stations, thousands of people will have been rendered jobless. I think NBC should always remain neutral and must not descend into conflict with broadcast stations. I also want to seek for the assistance of NBC, because we are seeking for a radio license, community radio license for Badagry and the community in Lagos State. I hope NBC will help us in facilitating the radio license, which we are presently processing. Thank you and God bless.
Prince Bisi Olatilo, the chairman and CEO Biscon Communications, congratulated the NBC for organizing the forum. He also spoke about a few other things.
Sensitization Forum on Political Broadcasting. Thank you very much for this. But I don't know if I should say this, but I need to say it. I was not invited. I just came in here because I'm a broadcaster and I thought that we should also come and be part of this. I haven't spent so many years doing this, done this all my life, can't even do anything. I don't know how you missed my name out of this. Biscon Communications, as you said, incidentally, we've been running a 24-hour station the last 5 years. And I think on all indices, we should be invited here. I wasn't invited and I didn't like it, but I just said, I asked my crew to come so we can have some content. And as you know, we will do it the right way. BOS has been there for 23 years, but Biscon is 5 years. And as I said, that's my life. But shouldn't I have had a television station on my own and a radio station on my own? Since I could sleep, I could be working to do it.
There was an interactive session anchored by Mrs. Francesca Ayeto, Director of Broadcast Monitoring of the NBC. During the session, questions were raised on the involvement of the media in politics. how to strike a balance in terms of information dissemination, the role of the NBC in national security, attacks on professional journalists, NBC rewards system for good journalism practice, among others. All the questions were elaborately addressed by the guest speakers. The vote of thanks was thereafter given by Mrs. Francesca Ayeton, NBC Director of Broadcast Monitoring, during which she appreciated the supporters of the forum, multi-choice, and wished everyone a safe return to their respective destinations.
At this juncture, let me recognize specially the support by MultiChoice who supported us to make this engagement happen. The ultimate thanks goes to God who made this day possible and who has brought us safely here, and we pray that He takes us safely back home.
Biscan TV crew spoke with some of the participants of the forum. They all expressed appreciation to the NBC for organizing the forum and emphasized on its importance to broadcasters and security agencies as Nigeria counts down to the 2023 election.
It's a very good thing that NBC has organized this type of workshop. Now we know what it takes and what to do and what not to do as a broadcasting station. And we equally see the DSS angle, the law angle into our profession. We equally see that of the police. And we want to see how the police will help the journalists carry out their own civic duty without any embarrassment and without any molestation.
So it's very important that also the political parties and people representing them should also be informed about certain rules that they should abide with, is what I think. But it's nice. It's very enlightening, and I support it.
This is a timely reminder and a note of warning to young broadcasters or new broadcast stations that are just coming into the fray, you know. It's a note of warning to them. And then for the older ones, the existing broadcasters, it is a kind of reminder for them to know that at a time like this, we need to apply caution. We need to be careful. We need to practically memorize or at least have the electoral law at our fingertips. We need to have the broadcast code.
NBC has the power, they are the regulators, to close any station or to sanction any station after violating any procedure. We have the broadcast codes, we have the electoral codes, which we all are aware of inside. But I believe NBC is doing this to sensitize the public, not just broadcasters, that you know what, elections are coming and you have to do this right. You have to give equal and fair opportunities to all political parties. You don't give all your time to political A and restrict your door to political B.
If we can have something like media safety code, because I've been in this thing for over 2 decades, in journalism for over 2 decades, and I delved into safety reporting for the past 7 years now or 8 years, and I'm come to realize that some security agents do not understand the essence of journalism. So these are the reasons why we are here to say, hey, can we have this conversation around how we can protect ourselves and understand that we're pursuing one goal.
The National Broadcasting Commission, NBC Sensitization Forum on Political Broadcasting will continue throughout the country ahead of the commencement of political campaigns for the 2023 election.